important activity that Lifefarm developed for not only the product, but also the philosophy, the strategy, the vision in the combination. And the product is omega-3 plus, but as you know, I start with my presentation and to share with you my slides. That's the first one. That's my CV, my face, my experience, my background, biologist, nutritionist, specialized in mitochondrial health, oxidative stress. And today we absolutely are going to deepen some concepts correlated with mitochondrial activity, mitochondrial medicine, oxidative stress. But let's really start with the first slide, because I would define for a specific aspect, define and design what's the scenario in which today we are inserted. Because of, as you know, there is some big numbers. The first that I want to share with you is these impressive numbers of cardiovascular disease in the world. And as you know, we have 17.9 million of people at risk, or are they in a sort of way in the situation to risk their life as a consequence of cardiovascular disease. One of 3 deaths worldwide today is due to heart and circulatory disease. And the first slide in this final part give you short pictures of how deaths and thanks to, unfortunately, to cardiovascular disease is continually increase in the past 30 years. Today, we have 60% globally combined with deaths that is justified and sustained from cardiovascular disease. The number of deaths from cardiovascular disease has surged by 60% globally over the past 30 years. That's important and real crucial epidemiological data that I want to share with you. But it's not enough. I don't want to realize terrorism because of, as you know, we work in a prevention and prediction activity, and so we have all elements in our hands to bring a perfect prevention protocol to avoid this final situation, for example, cardiovascular disease or circulatory disease. But it's important to share with you these numbers. And so another important element that I want to underline, that one of the most important consequence of cardiovascular disease, of vice versa, one of the best pillars of this cardiovascular disease situation is strictly connected with the circulation system. As you know, the circulation system is the foundation of our overall health, thanks to several actions, several activities, from transportation of oxygen, nutrients, the capability to deliver oxygen to the cells and tissue, the capability of the circulation system to ensure optimal blood flow, or, for example, another important aspect, the regulation of temperature within our body. And last but not least, also the capability to remove waste products like, for example, carbon dioxide and metabolic byproducts, and in general, toxins. Only for you, I would, for a sort of way, synthesize and simplify the concept of the consequence of poor circulation. There are really symptoms, and so I invite you to put your attention, under your attention these small signals that our body regularly, every day, send you, and that are crucial for the develop of other eventually risk disease like cardiovascular or circulation. And so pay attention to this indication like fatigue, heart discomfort, dyspnea, occasional coughing or wheezing, sometimes confusion or impaired thinking, loss of appetite, nausea, slow recovery after exercise, dizziness or fainting. And so, as you know, there is several indications that in a sort of preview and predictive situation tell us what could be happen in the next months or years. That's a sort of synthesis of this indication. But another important epidemic silent, strictly connected with the cardiovascular problem, is the cognitive decline. I want only to share with you this second epidemiological data because of the cognitive decline is strictly connected with disorders able to create disability and death globally. This situation, both these situations, the cardiovascular and cognitive situation or disease, are accelerated by oxidative stress. In a few minutes, we deepening this aspect and this specific situation of oxidative stress and unbalanced between antioxidant and free radical. Another cause that could, as a booster, accelerate this kind of silent epidemic is poor circulation, lipid imbalance, and obviously neuronal inflammation. I only to share with you, based on the source of World Health Organization in 2024, confirmed that the cognitive decline now affects over 55 million people worldwide. And so, as you know, all our modern lifestyles demands target biochemical support for heart, brain, and vascular integrity. That's the reason why I would really put together both these disease, both these risk disease, if we have not the sensitivity, the capability, the awareness to understand in the initial and really small signal that the body sends us this initial indication of the potential development of this kind of chronic disease. Okay, go through the oxidative stress. As I promised you, I underline how oxidative stress could enter like really a booster, an acceleration in this degeneration disease like cardiovascular or also cognitive difficulties. Sorry, that's sorry, another, no, okay. I want only define the oxidative stress like a common enemy because of its really spread within and throughout all worldwide population. Oxidative stress is an imbalance between free radicals and antioxidant capacity and capability of our body to maintain the balance of this situation. And we have, fortunately, big defenses within our body, thanks to our antioxidant production. We have also, sorry, endogenous production of antioxidant, but sometimes some of these antioxidants are endogenous, external, and we could take these nutrients throughout food or food supplements. This unbalance between free radicals and oxidative stress is strictly connected with atherosclerosis, neurodegeneration like Alzheimer or Parkinson, chronic inflammation, and also cellular aging and mitochondrial dysfunction. I only to insert one suggestion to balance this unbalance. One of the most critical antioxidant, and in that case is a coenzyme that is able to enter and face this situation, is the coenzyme Q10. Is a critical antioxidant that is able to neutralize free radicals, reduce oxidative stress in heart, vessels, and neurons. And so, as you know, could really support the healthy mitochondrial function and activity. Because of this coenzyme, coenzyme Q10 or ubidecarenone, is within Krebs cycles within cells. But another important actors of this situation is omega-3 fatty acids. Another important pillars of our protection, brain and vascular, is truly connected with omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3 fatty acids, that's EPA or DHA, are really crucial to sustain neuronal membrane fluidity, neurotransmitter function, and mood regulation and memory formation. DHAs is a structural omega-3 fatty acid, the component of brain tissue, and in that case specifically is essential for learning, focus, and so specifically dedicated to our cognitive activity. In that sense, DHAs is a protection from cognitive decline. EPA is a different, is the same omega-3 fatty acids, but with a different activity as anti-inflammation, anti-inflammatory effects, in that case supporting endothelial health, triglyceride reduction, and vascular flexibility. And so another pillars in terms of prevention, and I use also capability to face the prediction activity of our small signal, is strategically connected with omega-3 fatty acids. Another key element and ingredient able to sustain our vessels health is vitamin Q2. The vitamin Q2 is not so well known, but really it's one of the most important vitamins that we have to use every day, specifically in combination with the vitamin D3. Vitamin Q2 plays a strategic role in vascular health because of, from my side, it activates protein like MGP that prevent calcium from depositing in arteries. And so, as a consequence, vitamin Q2 ensures calcium is delivered to bones and teeth, not soft tissues. And so in that sense, create a strong synergy with the vitamin D3 to maintain mineral homeostasis within our cells. And so it's real important to maintain a daily assumption of and absorption of K2 vitamin, because of the lack of K2 is associated with arterial calcification and increase of cardiovascular risk. And so that's a really small picture that I want to give you. And so we start from the deepening and sharing the actual epidemiological scenario in terms of cardiovascular and cognitive disease. And we have immediately find a solution, not with drugs, it's not our interest, but with a sort of food suggestion, or rather than food supplement suggestion: coenzyme Q10, vitamin K2, and omega-3 fatty acids. That's the introduction of our really blockbuster products that, as I introduced you, is omega-3 plus. Omega-3 plus is, yes, it could be a real one of, probably it's the most interesting product. It's difficult to find a product better another one in LIFR list. But obviously we separated from Laminine, that's our pillars. But if you go through the powerhouse list of LIFR, the first that for me is important, every day of 365 years in the years, obviously, is omega-3 plus. Omega-3 plus is a perfect combination of different ingredients, help to maintain and improve circulatory health, and so prevent cardiovascular disease and cognitive disease. Omega-3 plus is based on cutting-edge research that demonstrates, that's typical, as I already told you in the last webinars, one of the best characteristics of LifeArm is demonstrate with peer-reviewed journal and publication the efficacy of its products. And so omega-3 plus is absolutely demonstrate his ability to improve circular and cardiovascular function thanks to research and publication. This is the high quality ingredients that we could find within omega-3 plus. Absolutely, it's important the big ingredients, and so coenzyme Q10, omega-3, EPA and EPA and DHA, vitamin K2, but I add omega-6 and omega-9, and now in a few minutes I'm going to explain how could be so important also the insertion in this formulation not only of omega-3 but also omega-6 and omega-9. And last but not least, egg bioactive growth factors. That's our patented products. That's obviously from another side, Laminine. And so that's the combination. I only to point out that omega-3 plus contains omega-3, EPA, and DHA from a South American anchovy species, naturally high in EPA and DHA, and in that sense free, that's really crucial, from heavy metals. That's really important. That's the reason why I really appreciate very much omega-3 plus and omega-3 within omega-3 plus compared to other competitors and products in the market. omega-6 and omega-9 are derived from borage oil, and so vegetable source. Coenzyme Q10, as I already, is naturally produced from obviously phyto complex. Egg bioactive growth factors is our patented product. So it's, as you know, like from proprietary formula that support, in that case, regeneration and overall well-being. And in that formulation, vitamin K2 is derived from natto. Natto is the traditional Japanese food made from fermented soybeans. That's the cocktail that to use to suggest and support the prevention of cardiovascular disease and cognitive reduction or impairment. Why the combination of fatty acid? But okay, as you know, I really only to deepening omega-3, omega-6, and omega-9. The omega-3 we have already explained in the previous slides. Omega-6 plays a role in cell signaling, specifically in the brain. In that case, omega-6 helps balance cholesterol levels. And obviously, in that case, there is an optimal ratio between omega-6 and omega-3, but a few seconds, and I also deepen this important differentiation from omega-3 plus and other products. Last but not least, omega-9. In that case, omega-9 helps to reduce LDL, that's, as you know, is the bad cholesterol. But from another side, omega-9, these omega fatty acids, increased HDL, that's the good cholesterol. Obviously, both these activities support heart health. Another property that I would point out to you from omega-9 is the capability to reduce inflammation and prevent plaque buildup in our arteries, promoting, in this case, better blood flow. But as I told you, it's crucial in each of our in the market, in that case, formulation of omega-3, the balance between, in that case, omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. There is important presence in our product of EPA and DHA, quindi EPA and DHA. We have already known this aspect. There is, as you know, it's a very important percentage compared to others products in Life Farm percentage of EPA and DHA. We have in our omega-3 plus 18% of EPA content and 12% of DHA content. If you compare to other competitors, the percentage are completely different. That's the reason why I suggest, I prefer, I choice this product compared other of the market. And another aspect that our Life Farm EPA and DHA as source anchovies and sardines. That's completely different from the other, first of all, cod liver oil or salmon. That's important. Another important aspect is, as I told you, the percentage, the ratio matters because of its really, the ratio matters in the combination of omega-6 and omega-3. We respect with our omega-3 plus this ratio. The ideal or golden ratio is 4 to 1 or lower. we have a quite comparable in the ingredients in terms of 3 and 6 omega percentage. And that's the reason why I suggest you to choose this product. In that way, thanks to ratio, this golden ratio 4:1, we could really guarantee the promotion of anti-inflammatory balance. And in that case, I would point out how today the Western diets often exceed this ratio with an unbalanced situation. For example, 15:1. That's triggering for chronic inflammation. That's real important. Our omega-3 plus provides a scientifically balanced ratio to restore harmonically our comparison, our balance between omega-3 and omega-6. That's real important. I would, from a scientific point of view, explain you, deepen you this aspect because of it's the crucial new positioning of this product compared to the several and products like based on omega-3, omega-6, omega-9 in the market. And so that's the reason why I would really suggest to no doubt suggest omega-3 plus for this specific situation. Coenzyme Q10. Coenzyme Q10 is our omega-3 plus. Our omega-3 plus contain coenzyme Q10. We already know the characteristic and the properties of coenzyme Q10. I don't want to repeat the important support in cardiovascular health. And I already point out how the extended release formula within omega-3 plus allows coenzyme Q10 to stay in the body for up to 24 hours, providing long-lasting energy and long-lasting antioxidant benefits. That's another aspect because of I suggest a food supplement like omega-3 plus with the extended release formula of coenzyme Q10. That's crucial, newly compared with other competitors in the market. Last but not least, vitamin K2. Vitamin K2 is that, as I already explained you from natto, Bacillus subtilis. The properties of these crucial vitamins Q are already, I hope, clear also to you, specifically with the combination of other vitamins, first of all, vitamin D3. Vitamin K2 is a sort of messengers, it's a sort of carriers of calcium within bones and teeth and not in the vessels. That's obviously a crucial prevention activity in the cardiovascular prevention. Few words also if you better understand how that represent real the add value, the competitor elements on which we could push as a new positioning of this kind of product. As I already told you, Life-Farm Property Egg bioactive growth factors is already within formulation of omega-3 plus. I underline you as this kind of growth factors is able to stimulate stem and tissue cells. And in that case, these kind of growth factors optimize function of immune cells, nerve, brain cells, connective tissue, thanks to increasing collagen and elastin and lining of blood vessels. And so that's, to summarize, the benefits that get omega-3 plus to us. As you know, the bullet point that I show you now is from the Sweetly Moves blood. That's real crucial for our health and age reversal. Omega-3 plus supports cardiovascular, neurological, and joint health for the reason that I explained you before. The crucial support also in the memory and cognitive function is an pillars of omega-3 plus. As I told you, omega-3 plus maintain the necessary amount of omega-3 needed to support healthy joints and bones, specifically because of today, the typical West diet is more rich of omega-6. In that way, with this supplementation, we could balance omega-3 and omega-6 gold ratio. And last but not least, the capability of omega-3 plus is also in the rebuild, restore, and structure brain cells, nerve cells, and the brain from oxidative stress. Now we have understand how it's crucial to put under control this imbalance between free radicals and antioxidant, the oxidative stress balance. That's mandatory to present you because of omega-3 plus play alone incredible and amazing result, but I repeat, but if you could combine omega-3 plus with laminin, I obtain by a publication, scientific publication, and so from a evidence-based medicine demonstration, this result. When omega-3 plus is taken with laminin, their effects are even more powerful. I, for example, confirmed the effect of laminin and omega-3 plus in terms of reduction of cholesterol levels, 11.5% in 8 weeks. I decrease, thanks to the use of the combination LDL, and so remember, is the not good, is the bad cholesterol. In that case, I reduce this percentage of 20.9% and lowers also results in the reduction of triglycerides levels, 16.7%. And that result, that finding is strictly connected to a publication, scientific publication that we found in the different peer-reviewed journals. Last but not least, I already to explain you, show you, explain you that some study show that men with the compromised sperm counts experienced improvement in sperm viability. Couples saw a 20% increase in pregnancy rates compared to those not taking supplements. In that case, obviously, this specific combination. And that's so crucial to underline how both alone omega-3 plus, but also in the combination to laminin, really could guarantee several reduction in terms of cholesterol or triglycerides, really crucial in a specific situation in which the person has this metabolism, specifically in the fat metabolization or transformation. Okay, how the recommended use of this product, omega-3 plus. We recommend taking one soft gel 1 or 2 times daily with a meal. I suggest, but it depends to the specific subject profile. We could also suggest 4 or 5 soft gel today daily, can be taken daily to obtain higher blood levels, but it's typical of the personalized and tailored protocol that I use and I suggest when I have in front of me the people, the person in that case. I repeat, omega-3 plus can be taken any time of the day with food and water. I repeat, omega-3 plus contain eggs, fish, sardine, anchovy, and mackerel, and obviously soy, as I told you. To finish and conclude my presentation, I underline for our professionist guys that follow our webinars that omega-3 plus was featured in the world-renowned publication, first of all, Innovation in Medicine, and obviously in our clinical study in which that can be found in the physician's desk reference, that the most important desk reference in the world, specifically from US, because of this is a US desk reference. Okay, and so to summarize and finish my presentation, what's the reason why I should choose omega-3 plus compared to the other competitors for the other products based on omega-3, omega-6, 9, coenzyme Q10, and Q2. First of all, omega-3 plus is the only omega supplements with life-farm proprietary bioactive growth factors. That's obviously the first pillars that we maintain, we take in our mind. Second point, omega-3 plus contains 3 different omega fatty acids, omega-3, omega-6, and omega-9, but also I add to you, it's a golden ratio between omega-3 and omega-6 that, as I told you, crucial for the best performance of this product, but also the combination of these 3 omega fatty acids. Third point, our advanced formula blend is 3 times more effective than krill. Sometimes could people suggest, yes, but I prefer the omega fatty acid from krill oil. In that case, we have data that confirm that our blend formula is more effective than krill oil and fish oil in supporting the circulatory system. Fourth point, all ingredients are of the highest quality and responsible source to ensure environmental sustainability. That's not sometimes crucial as a message, but for me and for I imagine each of you could be another important aspect. And last but not least, the product is rigorously tested for safety, potency, and purity, ensuring a readable and effective supplement. In that case, above the slide, we could find all the certification that omega-3 plus received. Okay, thank you very much. I conclude. I immediately pass and I give the words to Katalin and thank you for your attention. And eventually, if you have question, I'm available.